I think we're live.
Are we?
I think so.
Hi.
Hey guys, welcome to another Friday episode of Element 115, where you got Tim James in the house and Lee Strauss. And guess what?
We shrunk.
We're kind of under the table right now. We thought we'd come on and do something a little different, a little, off kilter.
Why not?
Why not? Because that's who we are.
Okay, my knees are going to break.
Okay, I better fix my chair too.
Oh, my goodness. Good evening, everybody. Holy cow.
We are always looking to have a good time. I'm telling you what,
Why not? Why not?
Why not? It's Friday. It's the beginning of the weekend. And we got 2 more days to have a blast, right? So why not start out the best weekend ever, every weekend, right here on Element 115?
100%. 100%.
So here, hey guys, if you guys have a question for us, please make sure that you put it in capitals on the side so that we can get it into the show. I am not that good at reading all of these comments at all. In fact, I'm probably going to rely on Tim a little bit during the show here to yell things out in my ear in my direction, but I got to get better at it because there's a lot of things that goes by that I don't even see. So
yeah.
It happens. It happens.
Not a problem. I got your back, buddy.
Right on. Right on. I appreciate that, sir. By the way, we are going to be talking about this evening. We're going to be talking about all these crazy comets that are coming into the solar system. That's what we're going to start out with. We might get into some other things after that, but that's what we're going to start out with. And that's why Tim and I were ducking down low because we don't want to get hit by anything, as it's coming through.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah. So let's welcome everybody in. We got Kitty Cat Whack in the house tonight. Mel WD40 Bar Mason. We've got who else here? We've got race fans in the house. Thank you very much for coming on in. We got Eternal.
And Mel WD40.
Yes.
He is here.
Lubed up. We need to get lubed up. As if you couldn't tell, maybe we weren't lubed up enough already for the show.
No, not at all.
Not at all. No, not at all. So Cosmic Joe Chronicles, we got Flat Six in the house. We got Frankie B, T-Bone. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming on in.
Absolutely.
We got Stargazer as well. The Jaquetta is here. Thank you for joining us. Paramarv's in the house.
Oh, Stargazer 46 and 2.
Yeah.
And who else have we got down here? Now we got to try to read, right? Pendulum Fire 5. Richard Minish is in the house. Yep. Candace L. Helfrich. I probably butchered your last name. I'm so sorry. I'm not the greatest at that. Delilah. Absolutely. Paramarv, he's monitoring everything. So as Paramarv said, he'll be keeping an eye on the questions for us and he'll be reminding everybody, put them all in caps. Absolutely. Lake City Laura. Hey, how's it going to you? And Kurt M's in the house. Tammy Benjamin. Why do I know that name?
That's my significant other.
I know you're supposed to play along with it.
Oh,
hi, Tammy.
I just ruined it. I just put my finger in the ice cream.
You did. That's still ice cream, so it's going to be good. Oh, who else have we got? Kaz is in the house. Race fan, of course. And I think we've just about covered everybody scrolling on down, but there'll be more popping in. Jules just popped in. Hey, Jules.
Welcome, guys.
Definitely.
Well, without further ado, I did change up the intro a little bit. We're going to do that. Yes, it's been changed up a little bit. So cool. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
You're going to recognize some of these photos.
Okay.
Welcome to the dimension of the unknown, where the imagination reigns supreme, crafting worlds and realities that defy the limitations of our mortal coil. We Beyond the veil of reality, there exists a realm that defies the boundaries of human perception. Certain places beckon with an otherworldly allure, stirring the senses and whispering secrets of a dimension that lies just beyond the threshold of our mundane existence. The air is alive with an electric anticipation, as if the next step might unravel the very fabric of reality, plunging us into an abyss from which there is no return. This realm is a boundless expanse, as infinite as the cosmos and as timeless as the ages. It inhabits the twilight zones of existence, where the glow of knowledge and the shadows of ignorance entwine like lovers in a cosmic dance. Here, the rational and the mystical converge, suspended between the depths of human terror and the pinnacle of our understanding. Welcome to Element 115.
Now, before we get into the meat of the matter, because everybody likes meat, we all love meat, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I heard there was some changes
Mm-hmm.
made in the background
Yes, sir.
recently. Is there anything you would like to divulge at this moment in time?
Yeah, I guess I can do that. I mean, it's not a secret. Obviously, David put it out. We have Josh Rutledge, who is fantastic. I love Josh. If you've ever watched it, watched episodes with Josh on Spaced Out Radio, love him to death. I love listening to him. Met him in Vegas. Didn't get to sit and really chit chat with him. So he'll be taking over the UFO report. And I think Katie Page will be coming in Thursday nights on SOR doing where I used to do that little half-hour bit. So basically, so there's no rumors, there's no baloney, there's no nothing going around. What's happened, and I'm not going to get into monster detail, about 2 years ago, had some issues at work, was almost like having a little mini strokes, and they weren't strokes, but they were like having little mini strokes. I get these ice pick headaches, and then all of a sudden I'd be like thinking my words backwards and not being able to read a sentence properly from left to right. And it had all come back, but it was just these little things that were going on. So after 2 years of specialists and MRIs and CT scans and stuff, there's a couple things they found is that I've got enough scar tissue on my brain to basically make leather soles for shoes. That's because of 7 major concussions that I had during martial arts and being a goof, being a kid and getting into fights. But yeah, I've got scar tissue. So the circuitry upstairs tries to deviate and move around it, and I have issues there. But the big thing that's had me step back off of the late night with Dave on Spaced Out is I have my pituitary gland is collapsed and is flattened, and it's leaking. So what happens is my spinal fluid is coming up and into the center of my brain, and it's leaking out of the pituitary gland and filling up the cavity between my skull and my brain. And what happens is it puts so much pressure on it to get these brutal migraines and pressure like 2 thumbs behind your eyes, like somebody's trying to pop your eyes out from the back. So I got a sleep apnea machine, which most of you know about, and it's monitored by my GP, my doctor, and my specialist. Well, I got a phone call from a specialist and got ripped a new one. Because I've been having more headaches and more problems with reading and comprehension and all that sort of stuff. And once you realize that I was doing the UFO report and hanging out with Dave until, sometimes 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning and chit-chatting, as you guys all know, I was getting probably about 3.5, 4 hours sleep before going to work. Well, that's causing major pressure, and it's not allowing the fluid to alleviate the pressure to stop pumping. So I've been thrown into new meds, and I've also been told that I have to get X amount of hours of sleep during the week. And yeah, we're taking that route first. And what they also worry about is if it continues or it doesn't subside after about a month of this new regime, so to speak, they may have to go in and operate on my brain. So I'm in kind of rest mode for the evenings, but I'm still doing, all the back behind the stuff. I'm still doing the website. I'm still doing this show because I can still play because it's before my bedtime.
Yeah, I had to go ask your mommy if it was okay if you came out and played this evening. So
yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, everything's fine. She would just gave me the old finger wag and said, if you don't smarten up, you're going to be, renting a room in a care home because you're going to turn into a mushhead. So I was like, well, I'm already a mushhead, so it doesn't matter. But
well, it takes two to tango, pal. So.
That's right. So seriously, yeah, I'm good. I'm not in any danger as long as I follow the rules and do as I'm told. So kind of a blessing in disguise to a certain degree, because SOR got Josh Rutledge, and like I say, he's fantastic. He's fantastic. Yeah. Everybody's going to love him. Dave couldn't have nailed a better guy to do the UFO report. And like I say, I'll be doing the graphics and the commercials and helping out behind the scenes and being on here. So I'm still around, but I just won't be on the late evenings on SOR.
Yeah. And everybody here on the side here is all praying for you and sending love and whatnot and hugs and stuff. And that's definitely needed right now.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I thank everybody that's reached out. And I know everybody's thoughts and stuff with me, but everybody that's reached out has been so nice. You guys are awesome, and I do appreciate it. And nothing to worry about. Like I say, as long as I do as I'm told.
That's right. And don't make me drive 8 hours to do what you're told.
No, I don't want to go there.
No, because it won't be pretty. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I got a funny feeling, and yeah, Dave's already given me the eyeballs too, and there's a lot of people that have given me the old, well, if you don't do as you're told. So yeah, a lot of people care, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yep, they do. Thank you very much, Kitty Cat Whack, for the super sticker. We do appreciate that here at Spaced Out Radio. Thank you very much. So here we go. We're going to get into some stuff. Okay. Right. So I've got a list over here that shows me what these different comets and what's going on with them and how they're coming into the solar system right now. So we're going to get into that. And then we're going to speculate about why this is happening right now.
Cool.
Okay. So there's a comet called C2025 A6 Lamon. It's expected to be at its brightest point here in 2025 on November 8th. And you should be able to see this with your naked eye, by the way. It's going to have one heck of a tail and is going to come close enough for us to see it from the ground without binoculars or without a telescope. So that's pretty cool. And there's another one called this one's pretty interesting. This is C2025 R2 Swan. It's a newly discovered comet that it is coming in September of 2025, which is right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's already at its brightness, as far as what it's seen from Earth. And it will be seen most likely in the southern hemisphere. It'll become more visible then, which it's, September 12th, which is already passed.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing about this is that it is coming in at a very similar angle to our solar system that 3i Atlas is. Mm-hmm. 3i Atlas is coming in at a 5-degree angle to our solar system. Well, on the other side, so is Swan coming in at the same angle from the different direction. Not quite 90 degrees to each other, but a little bit. A little bit, yeah. So that's really interesting. If you can imagine our solar system like a disk, right? Where all the planets are circling around the sun on this disk, kind of like a record, flat record, right? And 5 degrees off one way, you've got Three-Eye Atlas, and then coming in from a different angle, almost 90 degrees, at 5 degrees to the disk is Swan. Now, they calculated Swan, and it seems like it was back when we first started, growing crops and building megalithic structures, was the last time that it was here in the solar system. And that might be key to some of my theories about what is going on later in the show. So we'll move on to Three-Eye Atlas. Now, there's a lot of interesting information about Three-Eye Atlas, and I'm sure you guys have seen it on YouTube and Facebook and all these places. But it's got a green corona, but it's red in the center where this object is, which is super bizarre. They say that it doesn't have enough nickel in the object to create such a massive green hue. Now, I don't know what kind of spectrometry they're using. We have Tim down. Hopefully he'll come back. But I don't know what kind of spectrometry they're using. I know that there is a satellite in orbit that is I'm gathering that data, but they're saying from what they can tell, it's not, it's not enough to create that massive hue. So we will continue with that as well. Okay, so perihelion for that is going to be on October 29th. Okay, so what we're talking about here is the Swan and the Atlas being on the opposite side of the sun when they come into perihelion, which means the closest point to the sun. But also, they seem to come close to Mars. And that's pretty interesting. Pretty close. In fact, Atlas, they're saying, at its trajectory, you know how you visualize and they show like different paths that a storm can take, across the ocean, and whether or not it's going to land here, or it's going to land here, or it's going to land here. Well, that's what they've done with Three-Eye Atlas. And at its closest possible point to getting to Mars, it is possible, the way that it's off-gassing right now, that it could be the distance between Washington State and New York City.
Ooh.
It's possible right now because of how it is acting. That's how close it could get. And that is crazy to think about.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what does that mean? I mean, the gravitational effects from that, or I can't even fathom. I just have no clue what that would do to Mars. Even if it has a little bit of atmosphere, it could rip the atmosphere right off of Mars, I imagine.
God, yeah. I'm just thinking, I'm putting it together in my head, and yeah, you're right. That would be, well, devastating to Mars, I suppose. But I'm curious. I'm really curious because I mean, what was it? They've got the VBG or the VBT, the very big telescope, the Hubble, and the oh my gosh,
James Webb.
Thank you. And they're saying that they're not getting it. Well, okay, the word is that they're not getting information, or they can't get close enough to see. I don't know if I'm buying that. I really don't. I mean, the those three telescopes are so powerful, right? And we're getting pixelated pictures now. I'm thinking baloney. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Mhm.
I'm not buying it. I'm thinking that they know what it is. And so take a picture of it and let everybody see it. I'm curious to find out too, because I mean you're going to get into it later, and I'm not going to jump ahead on you here, but yeah, I'm just curious about the others that are with it, right? And speculation, and we'll get into some speculation, I guess. But yeah, I'm just what is it like? The 3i Atlas is basically classified, and I'm just looking this up as we're talking, as the interstellar comet because of its hyperbolic orbit and open elongated path. Shows it's not bound to the sun's gravity. It's a one-way visitor from deep space,
Mhm.
traveling at speeds up to 87 kilometers and 87 kilometers a second. Sorry, so
Yeah.
200,000 miles an hour. So yeah, to go back to that with Mars, if that rips by that close at 200,000 miles, yeah, it's gonna tilt the pinball machine, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to give a quick thanks to everybody that's donating. I really do appreciate it. Dave appreciates it. Tim appreciates it. So Stargazer, thank you for the $2. And
Yeah,
also Gizmo, thank you for the $6.99. We really do appreciate it at Spaced Out Radio here. Thank you very much.
thank you.
So it's also the fastest object that they've ever seen come into the solar system. It's that
Yes.
nothing has come in this fast ever
Mhm.
before. So that's something else. The devastation it could do if it hit anything is unbelievable. So
Right.
uh, which we hope that it doesn't, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't know why all these objects are coming in, but we have some theories. So let's continue here. See 2025 K1 Atlas. So uh, this is another comet observed by the Atlas Ground Observatory satellite, or not satellite, but yeah,
Telescope.
telescope. Thank you very much for that. Basically, they say it's a visitor from the Oort cloud. Its closest approach will be on November 2025, once again in November. So we got
Mhm.
September and November where all of these comets are coming in. And you will be able to see this one with a telescope and binoculars, but not with the naked eye.
Right.
Okay. You've got the 24P Shamash.
Easy for you to say.
Anyway, so this comet is it's returning to the inner solar system it returns every 8.25 years. While currently too faint for most observers, it is expected bright enough for a small telescope viewing in January. So this one's just a little bit off, but it's still on the way into the inner solar system, and it will be because it is slower, but it will be in the inner solar system at the same time that all these other comets will be here. Okay, so we have the C2024 E1. Okay, this comet's predicted to be brightest in early 2026, and is another slow-moving object that's coming in, visible through binoculars. And then we've got the 2TP. Okay, and this comet is expected to be brightest in late autumn to early winter 2025. So making it a good target for amateur astronomers.
Mhm. Mhm.
So let's start doing some speculation.
All right, let's do this.
So let's say that something happened out in the Oort cloud. Like, is it possible that something coming in, and we're talking about the 3i Atlas, for
Mhm.
instance, hits something and then it ricochets and bounces off another thing and another thing and another thing, and that's why we have all of this stuff coming in? Well, no, because the majority of this stuff is stuff that's already going around the sun, right?
Mhm.
So that's not what's going on here. Um, something else is happening. It's almost as if let's just step back for a second. Back in high school, you had a bunch of friends. We're going to kind of try to tie in how bizarre this is. Okay.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
in high school, everybody had a bunch of friends. What is the likelihood that all your friends would later in life, 7 of your friends come over to your house on the same day or the same weekend and knock on your door?
I would say slim to none.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I'm viewing this, right? I mean, this is pretty bizarre. It's almost like a gigantic clock. If you can imagine our solar system like a gigantic clock that has many different hands, right? Each being a planet or a moon or a
Right.
or a celestial object that comes and rotates around the sun. Very complex clock. What happens when things start to line up? Things start to happen like this.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a big clock that's been put in motion before we got here? And there's some great reason why all of these things are linking up now.
Right.
So does that have to do with quite possibly the Three-Eye Atlas and its closest, path to Mars, or who knows? I kind of mentioned it before that maybe there's something going on here with Mars.
Right.
Newsflash comes out this week, by the way. Wait, there's life on Mars? What? NASA says what? There's life on Mars all of a sudden. But they've known this for years and years and years, and now they're coming out with it. Thank you very much, T-Bone, for the $5. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate the love. Thank you very much, T-Bone. So yeah, why would they mention that now after all these years that they've known that there's been life on Mars?
Interesting.
And why yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's interesting because okay, we're speculating. I'm staying out of the, sorry, my brain went into fact mode. Like, hang on a second. But yeah, I don't know. There seems to be, to me, with this and some other stuff that's going on, there seems to be a lot of stuff, or it would feel that there seems to be a lot of stuff coming together. Like you said, like this is a big clock, the Atlas, all of this stuff. And like you say, the breaking news about that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the heck is going on. I mean, I was under the understanding too that this thing's traveling at, like you say, or I said, 200,000 miles an hour. And the closest it's going to get to Earth is 170 million miles or something like that. I mean, I don't know how close. I mean, I guess in the greater scheme of things, that is relatively close. But what is happening? I'm not sure what is going on. Why is this all happening now? I'm in the same boat as you. And then the other side of my brain goes, hang on. Didn't Jeremy Corbell say something about this? Then he retracted it and said, well, maybe I wasn't talking about this. I don't know. There's so much. It seems today in the world, there seems so much of look over here going on that nobody's focusing on really what's happening. And I'm kind of twisted up about it, and it's hard to find the ball under the coconut shell. There it is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And it does seem right though. It's what's going on, and why is this all happening now? Why is this all happening now? We had drones last year around this time. Now we've got comets.
Right?
I don't know.
So let's continue with this thought before we go into our next one. Theories, right? So I believe it's possible that you have the Three-Eye Atlas coming in. It's going to probably, if it comes that close to Mars, it's going to be dumping debris. whatever that is, all over the solar system as it comes in and goes through, right? There was a story that came out today, that said that they have found DNA in rocks that have landed on the, rocks that have landed on Earth from wherever. So yes, we're getting seeded, it seems like. And where is this thing coming from? Well, we kind of know what region of space it's coming from, but is it coming to seed?
Oh, wow.
And what is that about? Right?
That, yeah. Again, another good point. Like, this may, could this be the disclosure? Could this be the way we're looking at it, instead of, like the president standing in front of the, every national media service and saying, ladies and gentlemen, and is this the way it's going to happen? If you're talking about seeding, man, yeah, this could be another way of looking at it. Good point.
Right. So it's quite possible that this is a way for disclosure to happen, right?
Right.
Yes, there's life in the universe. It's everywhere. It's extremely common out there, right? And these comets that are continuously going through our solar system are constantly dumping debris. Constantly. A lot of it will burn up in the atmosphere if it's bigger chunks, but there's a lot of it that does not burn up in the atmosphere and will fall like DNA particles and small things like that, right? That could land on Earth or Mars or whatever the case may be. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, if I look at it in a more of a scientific mind, of course, I want to get into the woo. I really want to get into the woo here. And think, well, maybe while we're on the other side of the sun, not watching what these comets are doing, are they going to have some interaction around Mars? Is something going to happen there? I was kind of joking a couple shows ago where I said, well, it's possible that 3i Atlas, takes up residence around Mars. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe terraforming. I was speculating way into the woo on this stuff, but if you look at all of these other comets, what do they carry? They carry ice,
right,
and different elements, and they're constantly bringing that stuff into the solar system. And is it the reason we're seeing so much now? Is it because we have these new capabilities of seeing a lot of this stuff? Well, some of it, yeah, but not in every case, right? We've been witness to comets for centuries, right?
Sure.
But now we can we're able to identify what's coming in from beyond our solar system. Right? And it's interesting to think how life gets spread around.
Yeah. And you're right, as our world gets smaller, and I mean that obviously through communication and what we're doing here, internet, all that stuff, the world's got infinitely smaller since I was a kid. And the technology, obviously, in saying that, has improved drastically. I mean, it's some of the stuff that we're doing now I could only have dreamt of, and I'm sure you too. When we were little, like, come on, really? This is really going to happen? So yeah, like you say, the technology improves. Looking out into the atmosphere, into the space and stuff improves. All that stuff improves. But it's almost like, hey, surprise, guess what we can do? Everything's kept so secret at times that with this technological improvement, they drop these things on us and you go, well, how is this happening all of a sudden, right? They fail to tell you, yeah, well, we've got some new stuff that can look at this, right? So yeah, it kind of freaks you out a little. Well, can end up freaking people out, I'm sure, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Especially us old folks.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the Hopi prophecy. I've heard of the term Hopi prophecy, but I'm not sure what that is, actually, unfortunately. But Yeah. So the interesting thing for me to think about is when we come out on the other side of the sun, what are the two major comets, the
Hmm.
Swan and the Three Eye Atlas? What are they going to be doing? The rest of the comets are are all known. The Swan is known, but it wasn't here last, and until well, it was like 60,000 years ago or whatever it was,
Hmm.
40,000 years ago. So the fact that it's coming back now, and we have all this going on, and these news reports that are popping left and right, and it's all very convenient.
Hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're here. We're ready. We're poised. We want to see what's going on with it, and it's a great time to be alive and witness it. So there you
Definitely.
go.
Definitely. And I'm with you too. I want to see what the heck's going on too. And I always find that when these sort of things happen or
Mhm.
similar occurrences, there seems to be so much speculation because
Mhm.
and even like I said earlier, even with the technology,
Mhm.
the the it coming out and being just straight up and here's the information, this is what we're finding, this is what we're seeing, here's the clear pictures. They Nobody ever wants to show you that, right? So all we can do is speculate, and it's like, can we not just cure this and give everybody an answer? If it's a comet, it's a freaking comet. Show us the pictures and let's get on with it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm yeah, I digress.
Yeah. So if you look at the news, any mainstream news, what you're going to see is basically they're going to show you a picture of a rock.
Yeah.
This is what we think it looks. That's a speculation, right? Just like we're speculating here. Um, and it's fun. It For me, it's fun to, think outside the box and try to figure out what
Hmm.
may happen, and that sort of thing. But it's always in the mainstream media. They're showing you a rock. They never show you a spaceship. Why would they ever show you a
Yeah.
rock that looks like a spaceship? And they wouldn't do that, right?
No.
You have to get online to places like Spaced Out Radio and stuff like that to see those kind of pictures. But
Yes.
and that's how we speculate about these things. But yes, so that was one of my early theories about this whole thing, that the Three Eye Atlas might be Nibiru. That was
Ooh.
like what I had thought originally. I think we were talking about that on UFO Max 2 weeks ago.
Right.
um, about maybe it's the Anunnaki coming back, and they're gonna circle Mars, and have a landing parties, or try to terraform it, or this or that and the other thing. We don't know what Nibiru is. We speculate that it was a massive planet, but we don't know for sure. We don't know. So yeah, it could be this one and the same. Exactly, it could be just this big spaceship. Absolutely. So there we go. Anyway, we're going to continue here. So we have all this stuff like going on at one time. What else? What else could be going on here? It could be our government saying that, hey, uh-oh, Tim, something's going on with Tim's. He's freezing up, he's saying. But it could be a slow drip of disclosure. All of this stuff could be that. Uh, they want to get it out because there's a reason, right? We don't know what that reason is quite yet, but there could be something on the horizon that we're not aware of yet. And like Tim was saying, you've got Jeremy Corbell talking about it. You've got Mr. Colthart talking about it, and they have recently in the past couple months saying, hey, we know something's coming. We can't tell you what it is, but it's very possible. So let's see if we can bring Tim back in on this here, because his opinion is extremely valuable, and we want to hear from him as well. But yes, so they, Coltart said it was coming, and then never mind. I don't know what I was talking about. And Jeremy Corbell basically said the same thing. So you never know, guys. This could be a major something that was trying to get swept under the rug, but they have to let something leak little by little. Okay, thank you very much, Mel. I appreciate that. I do. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, if you guys want to send me stuff, you can find me on Facebook, and I'll get with you if when I have time. Not if, but when. Let's see. Yes, exactly. They'd never tell us if something bad was coming. So why the heck do we have all these billionaires right now building all these underground bunkers, right? What's that about? I have no idea, but does it have something to do with what's going on, what we see in the skies and what we see in our solar system right now? All this unforeseen stuff that's all coming together? Or is it ET just saying, hey guys, you better figure it out. You better come together as a species, because when these rocks come in, you're going to have to deal with it. We're not going to always be here, or whatever the case may be. We're going to have to deal with this stuff, right? We need to come together and figure out how to deflect these things and start seeing the world as one, right? One species, and stop having such horrible wars over crap that we don't need to have wars over. And if you think about this too, like a spacefaring species had a planet, right? At one point in time. And I'm sure they probably had a war going on, or disagreements, or this or that. But to finally reach the stage where you're, going from planet to planet, or from solar system to solar system, they had to come together at some point, right? So that's what I'd like to think about. Well, they have figured out their own problems, and they have become a spacefaring species. And I would like to think that that'll eventually happen with us, but we have to get over ourselves and get there and do that. So hopefully that's what's happening here is like, hey guys, pull it together, and deal with these problems that are coming at you. There's so much more in this universe that you don't know. You need to figure it out. But that's let's see here. That's something that we need to figure out. All right, so let's move on. I'm trying to get Tim back in here, guys. I'm sorry about that. He's having some issues. Okay, hold on. I'm going to send him an invite, because let's do that real quick. Copy. I'm going to send it to him. Hold on a second. I'm looking for him here. There he is. Paste. Let's see. Let's see if we can get him back on. All right. Let's hope that worked. No. Here's another thought too. We don't know what kind of microbes that come off these comets and land on different planets or whatever. It could be something harmful, or it could add to the fauna, because that's what NASA found on Mars was fauna. I mean, pretty much plant microbes, right? And which is pretty interesting. So hopefully that just continues to happen. But it would be oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the Hopi book of the Hopi. Okay, I'll take a look at that later. Thank you very much for sending that on through, guys. I do appreciate it, and I will look at that, and maybe we'll have a show on that eventually. But yeah, I'm sorry, Tim, killing me here, buddy. Anyway, guys, if waiting for Tim, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I would love to answer them. Okay. So if you want to pop a question in there, it would be great. But in the meantime, I can actually bring up some other stuff for you. So I'm going to show you guys a little clip here of 2 UFOs that I captured over Mount Adams, coming down right over the peak of Mount Adams. And they seem to be almost moving at the same rate of speed here. So I'm going to bring that up just because. All right. So what you have here is one big craft circle, and then on the right hand, another smaller one on the right hand side, and they're moving down above Mount Adams at the same time, which was a pretty cool capture. It was weird when it happened. So this happened at a place called Takalak Lake, and we were there with a bunch of other people just viewing the night sky. And this is probably my second UFO capture that I've ever got. And we were sitting in a group, and all of a sudden I started feeling funny. Something's not right. We didn't have our equipment turned on. This was before I started leaving my stuff on all the time. And I was like, I started pacing. I started getting funny feeling in my stomach. My hands started sweating. And all of a sudden I looked up and it's like, where the heck did that come from? Because we didn't see it there a second ago. And so I was rushing to turn on my equipment, and I got my equipment on. And this darn thing, it was actually, when I saw it first, it was 3 objects that were all coming down over the mountain at the same time. And it blew my socks off, for sure. But sometimes I think those things somehow transmit to you in a way where you pick up on it in the subconscious mind or something like that. So, and let's see, I'm going to pull up another one actually right here. This one was filmed at Mount Baker, and this was an object that I actually asked to flash. And I do have the full video, but I'm only going to show the clip right here because the full video is like 4 minutes long. So this guy, let's see, how am I going to do that? And that one was significant. That one, I actually asked it to do something, and it did something, and I caught it on film. It actually flashed 3 times for me, which was incredible. Just recently, there was a guy on with Coulthard talking about this, where he actually asked the craft to come down after he had already established some sort of a communication with it. Asked the craft to come down, and these an ET came out of the craft, and he was actually able to film it. Now, it was very blurry. He was using a Galaxy, I don't know, S20 something or another, but it was dark. But he did capture something that had 2 eyes. The most recent video that Coulthard has put out actually has that, and it's an incredible video to see. But you got to take everything with a grain of salt, especially when things are that blurry. The thing that came to my mind was Blob Squatch, but I believe the guy. I mean, just the way he was talking about it, and everything sounded so true. His voice sounded so true and so convincing, for him to talk about it in the way he did. And so I was actually pretty astonished about that. But I'm going to bring up another. Let's see this photo right here. I'll tell you about this one. And that one you see in my intro. Again, I was at Baker. I was on this bridge in my truck at the time, and this bridge sits over what's called Boulder Creek. at Mount Baker. And it's kind of this long arching bridge that goes over this Boulder Creek. And I was sitting there and I took 3 shots with my cell phone. I did not see this object at all. But for some reason, I needed to take these 3 photos. Bang, bang, bang. And the center photo had that object in it. The other 3 did not have anything. And I looked all the way, trying to see if it was just, but I was either lucky enough or I was told that I needed to take those photos, and I did. Okay. What else do we have here? I'm going to get into some questions here. Why do you think the Roswell crash new pictures were just leaked? Ooh. Polly, I don't know about that. I have not seen those pictures. I have not. Let me take, well, if I've got a minute here. Well, new photos. Let's take a look. You got to ask the right way too, because if you ask Google the wrong way, no credible official confirmed. Okay, so they're not actually showing me these new photos. In the sun, just 22-minute video and images. I have not seen this. I obviously need to see it. And then I can kind of give you my opinion on it later at a later date, or maybe even next Wednesday on Grant's show, UFO Max. I'm sure we'll get into that, plus a lot of other things. But I appreciate you letting me know about that, Polly. I'm definitely going to look into it because, that's what we talk about here. All right, let's see. I'm pretty sure you can see bodies. Wow, that would be incredible. If we can actually see the bodies, that would be, that's disclosure right there. If those images are real and not AI generated, that's disclosure as far as I'm concerned. What are they, how are they going to refute that, right? They can scream all they want to, but if the negatives and the actual photos are there and the actual video is there recorded on, 8mm back in the day film, that's huge. That's massive. Where do we go from here, right? Oh, I used to ski Mount Baker. Yes. Glacier, Washington. I love Glacier, Washington. I've got a lot of friends up there and a lot of stories, guys, from other people up there that see UFOs a couple, I wouldn't say very regularly, but it does happen up there. It is one of the hot spots here in Washington State. And not only that, but Adams is huge. And why volcanoes? Why do we see from Kilauea the UFOs going into an active volcano? Why do we see other UFOs going into volcanoes or coming out of volcanoes that aren't active? What is it about volcanoes that attracts UFOs? I don't know. I could come up with, some guesses, but maybe if they're able to kind of go into another reality almost where the volcano isn't active and they have got bases under there. Speculation. Let's go into the woo. Okay, what is this one here? The unknown. I really need to show you what I have. It's the proof, but no one will look or take me seriously because I'm nobody. Well, you're not nobody here. You can find me. I'm Lee Strauss on Facebook, so you can find me there. You can always talk to me, in chat, and I'd love to look at what you got. Right? Everybody's somebody. Guys, I'm dyslexic. I grew up being a you know, a laborer and a carpenter and many other things for a company. Just I grew up being just a construction guy, and look at, you know, the luck I've had capturing UFO evidence. But I'm still just me. I'm not special. You guys, you know, you guys are what makes me special, or what makes Spaced Out Radio special, right? So all you need to do is just grab a camera and go out there and film the sky, and you too can capture some stuff. Believe you me, it doesn't take some specially trained guy in the military to go out there and call in UFOs. It really doesn't. You can go out there, and if you are pure of heart and you are in a good state of mind, you can call them in. Really, I'm telling you. You don't need to do the CE5 protocol. You just need to just be there and be you, really. And they'll come. They'll come. So just get your phones ready, your cameras ready, and you'll capture some stuff. We're all in our own way. Yes, that's true, but that's okay. Guys, you know, I'm just happy to be here, showing up for you guys and having something to talk about, even though Tim kind of left me here standing here struggling on my own, but that's all right. I don't care. Whatever. I'm here to do it. Anyway, guys, let me grab another short video, or actually this one here. We're going to grab this guy. Up by Mount Baker. It was actually coming across the Canadian border and heading south from where I was standing up by Twin Lakes. And there was actually a lightning storm or a thunderstorm coming in. There's clouds over off in the distance, pretty far off in the distance, but you could see the lightning and you could hear the thunder, and it was rolling towards us from the east heading west. The storm was, and then this thing comes over, and I'm like, holy crud. And I'm fumbling for my camera. At the time I think it was a Canon camera, and I'm fumbling for this thing and making sure that I had, you know, the settings correct, and I'm just madly trying to take pictures as it's coming through the sky. And it actually, if I bring it back up, you can see where it's like dot, dot, dot. And that's because my camera, the way I had the settings set for nighttime, it actually was just a regular circle, but because it was a longer exposure because of the darkness, that's why you've got this dot, dot, dot. But yes, it was just a single luminous orb in the sky. Pretty darn big too, I'm telling you. So yeah, it was an amazing capture. Once again, it's not me. I don't believe it's me. I believe you guys just need to go to the right area and really get kind of in tune with who you are, and they'll come. They will. Let's see if I've got another one here. Let's go show you guys one more before the end of the show. Okay, guys, that thing was moving super quick. And I don't capture these things right away, right? I don't until I go look through my footage. And this thing came in on the horizontal and then kind of did a burst of light and then shot off super fast. And that was at Mount Adams. So yeah, this stuff. East City Ranch down at Mount Adams. Definitely a place you can, you know, go to and see all this crazy phenomena for yourself. That's at James Gillian's ranch, East City Ranch. Anyway, guys, I am going to call it good. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. All right. I do. I love you all. And we're going to go ahead and hit the outro.